Alright, continuing 62-730 hazardous waste, hazardous waste 62-730 Florida Administration Code 270 exemptions. No part under this chapter shall be required with the following: the ocean disposal bay barge vessel, the owner of the operative has complied with the federal permit with the ocean dumping agency, Title 40 CFR Part 220, complied with the Title 40 CFR 264, 11, 264, 71, 71, 72, 73, A and B and 1, and 264, 75, 275, and 76, adopting subsection 62, 730, 181. Publicly owned treatment of the work if the owner and operative has had complied with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit if required, applicable state domestic waste permit issued by the department, complied with the Title 40 CFR 264, 11, 71, 72, 73, A, B, 1, 75, 76, adopting subsection 62, 738, 181. Except only waste which meets the federal, state, local pre-treatment requirements which would be applicable to the waste whether being discharged of the publicly owned treatment of treated works through sewer and pipe with a similar conveyance. For all the permits issued with the November 8, 1984, comply with the Title 40 CFR 264, 101, adopted in subsection 62, 730, 181 Florida Administration Codes. An injection well if the owner is the operator has the compliant with the state underground with the injection permit issued with the federally state applied state underground injection control plan program, complied with the Title 40 CFR 264, 11, 16, 71, 72, 73, A, B, 1, and B, 2, 60, 70, 264, 75, 76, adoption subsection 62, 730, 181. For permits issued in November 8, 1984, compliance with the Title 40 CFR 264, 101, adoption subsection 62, 730, 181 Florida Administration Codes. Notwithstanding any provisions chapter 62, 738 Florida Administration Code, facilities shall have been issued with the permit under this chapter shall not be required to obtain Department of Solid Waste for the activities addressed in the hazardous waste permit. 3. The following persons shall not be permitted to obtain the hazardous waste top operation construction closure permit. Generator hazardous waste facilities exempted and excluded with the hazardous waste permit program under the applicable provision, federal, state law, rules, regulations, along with the conditions, exemption, exclusions are met. Generations are waste. The facility manages with such waste that those specifically expelled from hazardous waste program under the applicable provision, federal, state laws, rules, regulations, along with the conditions, exclusions are met. Alright, 62, 730, 290, modification transfer of the permits authorization. After note that the administrator of the hearing requests substantial effect of the party, the department shall require the owner or operator to conform the new additional conditions, opening showing of the good cause of the purpose of the rule of the good to the cause that shall be limited to the standard of the rules which permit the other authorization will be based and changed with the amendment of judicial decision. The permit issued with the authorization granted the department received the information was not available at the time the authorization would have justified the different conditions. These alteration and facilities authorization justify the different conditions do not require construction permit to cause set forth in 624081 Florida Administration Code, Title 40 CFR 270, 41, and 42. Whenever the permit authorization is to be modified, only with the conditions subject to the modification are open. All other aspects of the permit and authorization will remain in effect. Upon written request, the owner and operator submit the appropriate modification fee. The department shall grant deny modifications. Modifications to permit authorizations of the Class 2 and 3 modifications set forth in Title 40 CFR 27042, including construction and expansion of hazardous waste management units, and shall be accompanied with the public noticing as required. In Rule 62, 730, and 292, Florida Administration Code, modification Class 1 modifications set forth in Title 40 CFR 27042, with the minor modifications made without public notice. Alright, 5. With respect to post-closure corrective action permits, only the permitter requires the permit modification to achieve the CTL, the clean target level based on the secondary target standard based on the nuisance organological aesthetic consideration, which include the termination financial responsibility requirement, the remedial activity chain for the groundwater plan may enter the consistent or consent order within lieu of the permit requesting the termination of hazardous waste post-closure corrective action plan with the permit can demonstrate with the only combination with the remains of the form of the facility groundwater contamination, excluding the excess clean target levels based on secondary standards of the basin nuisance or the organoleptic or aesthetic considerations. 6. Application to transfer the hazardous waste facility permit. The authorization shall be made at least 90 days before the effective date of the transfer. Application transfer the permit of the 62-730-900-1A. The effective date of January 29, 2006. Adopted here. Adopted incorporate the reference 62-730-900 contains information pertaining to the copy of this form. With the respective permits, the application comply with the section 403-722 for 13 Florida State statute. Application shall include one properly completed application for the transfer of permits form 62-739-100A. A statement on how the new owner-operator intends to meet the financial responsibility requirements adopted in Rule 62-730-180 and 62-730-226 of the Florida Administrative Code. The new owner and operator must demonstrate that the financial responsibility within 6 months of the day of the change of ownership, the operational control of the facility. The prior owner of the operator shall comply with the requirements of Title 40 CFR Part 264, and Part H adopted in subsection 62-730-181 and 62-730-226 until the new operator owner has demonstrated compliance. A completed application has the waste facility permit, Part 1, Form 62739A2A, with adopting paragraph 6273220A. Florida Administration Code completed action has the waste facility permit certification of 6273092A. D, adopting paragraph 6273220. 2A, other application of transfer permit, the authorization shall include the certification stating the changes that have been made within the required modification authorization proposal modification. 62-732-91 permanent renewal. Prior to the 180 days before the expiration of any hazardous waste permit, the permit shall complete with the application for the permanent renewal unless the facility is obtained the facility-wide cleaning, closing determination without the controls has intended will enter the CO or concern to address the cleaning target levels based on secondary standards based on the nuisance or the organoleptic aesthetic consideration prior to the expiration of the existing permit. The department reviewed the renewal permit application issued for the denial of the permit according to the Title 40 CFR 27051 as adopted in subsection 62-732-21. The owner application renewal of the permit is filed with the owner and operator of facilities where they are changed to the facility planning operation, including the closure of remedial activities, regulatory change of the effect of the operation, including closure of remedial activities, shall submit a letter describing the change of all attachments and necessary to complete with describe the change of the completed application for the hazardous waste facility permit certification form 62-739-102D adopted in paragraph 62-700-220. 2A of the Florida Administration Code for the permanent renewal fee. Ordinance operators facilities that operate with the conducting remedial action, including closure under the existing permit without existing any facility regulatory change is submitting the letter stating that there are no changes to the application filed with the supporting existing permit completed with the application of the hazardous waste facility permit for certification. Form 62-730-902D adopted in Form 62-730-220-2A and permit renewal fee. Alright, 6732-92 public notice for the hazardous waste permits and other authorizations. Pre-application public meeting with the requirements of the Title 40 CFR and 124.31 adopted in subsection 62-732-103 applying to initial application of the construction operation of the hazardous waste treatment and storage disposal facility. B, the operation permit of the renewal of which proposed the significant change of the facility operation to the following application to comply with the requirements of section 403-722-12. The application permit of the construction operation hazardous waste treatment and storage and disposal facility. B, the application modification renewal of the construction operation permit of the greater. The owner and operator shall cover the new notice of the department action to publish in the major local newspaper, the newspaper general circulation within 30 days of the receipt. The department notice in the intent with the issue of modifying the renewal terminating hazardous waste permit variance and closure equivalency demonstrating the executed with a copy of the authorization from the department to implement the clean closure plan. Approval of the department remediation plan under the Title 40 CFR Part 270 Subpart H has adopted section 62-730-221 and clean closure department determination owner and operator shall cover the department intent with the issue of the construction operation permit including the modification renewals to be broadcasted over the local radio station. The notice of any of the hazardous waste permit, the other hazardous waste authorization, except the variance clean closure determination, shall provide with a 45-day period during which any person commit with the department action request for the informal public meeting. The substantial affected party may request the hearing pursuant to section 125-69, 120-57, and the notice period of the variance pursuant to Title 40 CFR 260-31, 32, and 33 adopted in section 62-730-021 shall be 30 days. The notice period of the other hazardous waste variances shall be 15 days. The notice period of the clean closure determination shall be 21 days in accordance with subsection 62, 110, 106. 2. Each of the notice shall contain the instruction on how the examining copy of the agency and how members of the public can avail themselves of these rights, opportunities, the application provided the department will approve the publication broadcast acquired or for the section within 14 days of the receipt of the proof of the publication, but no more than 45 days of the application received the department's action. If the applicable, the time limit of the publication broadcast required for the section of the department written for the notice for the opposition agency initiate intention of the issue of the authorization required for the hearing, the department shall provide the hearing pursuant to section 125.69 and 120.57. The request for the substantial effect of the party of the informal public meeting requested by any other person of the department shall provide at least 30 days public notice prior to the holding of such hearing. In a meeting of the failure to require the hearing within an applicable time period shall constitute a waiver of the right hearing under section 120.56, 569, 57. All right, 260, 730, 293 feet of the hazardous waste permit authorization. Construction, commercial treatment, the storage, disposal facility, commercial incinerator, the boiler, industrial furnace, managing of the hazardous waste generated offsite. B, the operational commercial treatment and storage disposal feature of the commercial incinerator, the boiler, industrial furnace, managing hazardous waste generated offsite. The department variance of federal regulation under Title 40 CFR 260.30, a variance of classification solid waste, the variance of a classified boiler, variance of from the tank of the containment and the release detection requirements exclusion, determine the trivalent chromium waste, all other hazardous waste facility authorization for which the specific fee is not specified is in subsection $32,500. Construction of the hazardous waste landfill surface impoundment waste pile land treatment $25,000. Or miscellaneous units construction of hazardous waste treatment, storage, disposal facility, and incinerator boiler, industrial furnace treatment of hazardous waste generated on site. H, construction of the container of the hazardous waste storage and treatment facility $20,000. A post closure only with the corrective action, combination of the post closure corrective action only authorization, i.e. permitted enforceable documentation $20,000 for 10 years or $22,000 per year. J through L. Construction container tank hazardous waste storage operation of hazardous waste landfill with surface impound with waste pile land for treatment and miscellaneous unit. Operation of hazardous waste treatment storage disposal facility in which incinerators, boilers, industrial furnaces treatment of hazardous waste generated on site with $15,000. M through M&M operation contained with the tanker hazardous waste storage and treatment of facility. Substantial modifications require the moderate technical evaluation of the department. Example, they include the alteration of existing facilities operation, which will require additional site-specific evaluation, $10,000. O and P hazardous waste variance for the paragraph C and D with the modification. P, the modification, moderate modification required moderate technical evaluation by the department. These modifications require the new site inspection lead to different environmental impacts, less than the impacts of the original permit at $5,000. Q, an operation permit renewal closure remedial activity conditions only clean closure plan $2,000 per year. Our research and development demonstration permit at $2,000, and S through U contained out the determination soil ground contaminated hazardous waste, so as undergone remedial activities or renewal of 2-year variances and minor modifications that are used otherwise specified, including common and frequently occurring changes that need to maintain facility capacity, manage waste safety, minor changes with the groundwater monitoring plan modification to conform to the new requirements. 1,000 no fee contained with the determination incorporated into another authorization fee. Alright, V, a subpart H of the remedial action plan, or subpart H, a rapid on-site treatment and storage or disposal hazard with waste remediation, no fee required. W, substantial modification requiring significant change to the existing authorization, cleaning and closure extensive of the evaluation department exclude. Examples include alteration of existing facility, changing the facility plan, groundwater monitoring program assessment, and the remediation, engineering, design, or other general facility standards. Same fee as the new application. Alright, 2. The fees for the construction permit, the operation permit, the temporary operation permits may not be paid in per year. The authorization fees established on a per year basis shall be as follows. 2. Paying on a yearly basis. Optional application does not choose to pay on a yearly basis. The application shall submit whichever of the following is applicable. The entire payment of the 5-year authorization equals to 5 times the per year fee amount. The entire payment of the 10-year authorization which is equal to 10 times per year fee amount. If the application chooses the year payment only, the fee accompanied with the application shall the amount established for 1 year of the next fee shall be due with the first annual anniversary effective date of the anniversary authorization. Each succeeding the payment shall be due to the anniversary date of the effective date of the authorization. Application may choose to submit the fee more than one year at a time, up to the maximum fee of the life of the permit. Failure to submit any fee of the payment shall be a violation of the rules shall be the grounds of termination, authorization, enforcement action. If the payment of the annual fee is late, annual fee shall increase 20 for every overdue up to maximum increase of $3,250 per year. 62, 730 to 320, the emergency detonation of the thermal treatment of a certain waste. Explosive munitions emergency response specialist, or EMR specialist, means the individual trained with the chemical conventional munition, the explosive handling, transportation, render safe the procedure, instruction techniques. The explosive munitions emergency response specialist is limited to the Department of Defense emergency explosive ordnance, the disposal of the technical escort units, and the civilian contractor pursuant to certified by the Department of Defense emergency explosive ordnance disposal other than federal, state, and local government civil personnel similarly trained with explosive munitions of emergency response. Explosive munitions of emergency means a situation involving a suspected to detect the presence of unexpected ordinances, determining the damage, deteriorated explosive munitions, improved explosive devices, other potential explosive material devices, potentially harmful material, military chemical munitions devices create its actual potential imminent threat to the human health, including safety of the environment, including property, is determined by the explosive munitions emergency respondent specialist. Explosive munitions emergency response, or EME response, means that all the immediate response to the activities of the explosive munitions emergency response specialist to control, mitigate, eliminate actual potential threat encountered during the emergency explosive munitions emergency response may be include the place render safety procedure, treatment, and destruction of explosive munitions, transfer of these items and other locations, render the safe and treated destroyed, any responsible delay of the completion of the explosive munitions emergency response caused by the necessary of unforeseen, uncontrollable circumstance will not terminate the explosive munitions emergency. For a person having initial custody with the waste means for the person who has the authority to request the assistance of the emergency explosive munitions emergency response specialist regarding with the explosive munitions waste of the object of the explosive emergency response. They could owner of the waste, the person who generated the waste, the person who caused the waste to be the location will be found, the owner of the real property where the waste is located, real property of emergency explosive munitions emergency response began, and an agent tenant of real property owner. If the emergency explosive munitions or emergency response specialist determines the explosive munitions emergency response is necessary to protect human health and environment, the specialist is not required to comply with the standards of Title 40 CFR Part 262, adopting Section 62, 731, 61, applicable to generator for that as waste. It is not required to comply with the standards of Title 40 CFR Part 264, adopting Subsection 62, 731, 81, and Title 40 CFR Part 265, adopting Subsection 62, 731, 82, and applicable treatment and storage and disposal of hazardous waste. Many authorized removal of the material of waste if it is transported who do not have the Environmental Protection Agency identification number without their preparation of the manifest. 6. All explosive munitions emergency response involving the waste and reactive shock sensitive explosive can also be safely disposed of their immediately detonation thermal treatment that are subject to following specific conditions. A. The person having the initial custody of the waste shall notify the department of the name and address, telephone number of the person having the initial custody of the waste and type of the amount of the waste, the anticipated time and place for the treatment of the detonation, procedure for the detonation of the treatment. After the department has been notified of the explosive munitions emergency, the response to proceed. The local department representative designee may present the observed detonation treatment. However, the explosive munitions emergency response need not to be delayed and solely in order the department representative arrive. The detonation treatment should conduct with the supervised and explosive munitions emergency response specialist. Part of the detonation of the treatment of the site was secured, but there's no site allowed with the except of the authorized personnel. The area around the site shall be visually inspected to ensure that no authorized personnel are present. The unauthorized personnel are present. The securing inspection of the site shall be made at least the following distance: 0 to 100, 204 0 to 100 pounds, 204 meters, 100 to 1,000 pounds, 380 meters, 1,001 pounds to 10,000 pounds, 530 meters, 10,001 pounds to 330,000 pounds, 690 meters. Visual residual material shall be recovered at the site, properly disposed in all corners. Department rules adequate fire protection ensure the confinement control of any fire resulting with the operation shall be provided. In this case, the explosive munitions emergency response involving military munitions is responded to the explosive munitions emergency response specialist or organizational unit must retain record for the 3 years identifying the location, date, and time of the explosive munitions emergency response of a responsible person responding to the type of the description of the material address, including the amounts of samples of data involved available in the disposition. If the explosive munitions emergency response is clearly not necessarily addressed, the situation response can be delayed and compromising safety, increasing the risk posed and life, property, health, and environment. A person having initial custody with explosive munitions shall fulfill the requirements of Title 40 CFR 270-61 is adopted in subsection 62-732-20 for the administration code, providing oral written notification of the department, obtaining the oral written authorization of the department prior to implementation of the court's action. If the authorization is oral, it must be filed within 5 days with the written order. The following provisions apply with the authorization under the subsection. A notice of the department shall include the name of the person having initial custody of the explosive munitions and the explosive munitions emergency specialist involved with the brief description of explosive munitions involved with including the type, the amount, the location, the brief description of the reason for the proposed action, including the location, the thermal treatment of the detonation shall be conducted within only the time and place specified in the notice. Authorization will include the applicable requirements of Chapter 62, 730 Florida Administration Code, to the extent possible not inconsistent with the emergency explosive munitions emergency. Compliance with the subsection shall not excuse the failure to obtain the local, state, and federal approval of the license, whether it may be required the activities allowed with the authorization. Authorization shall not exceed 90 days. Written order shall be accompanied with a public obligation with a public notice within 40 days. This may be accomplished with the person having the initial custody of the waste of the department. Alright. Within 30 days of the explosive munition emergency, the activities conducted under the written order, the authorized person shall submit the department a complete written summary of the explosive munitions emergency activities, which shall clearly specify the type and amount of explosive munitions received and the manner and location of the treatment, storage, the disposal, disposition, any residual of the process of the pertinent information. A person having initial custody of the waste shall conduct a soil sample and otherwise provide the reasonable assurance of the department of no residual of the explosive munitions emergency response, any other emergency action regarding explosive munitions pose a threat to human health and environment. Alright, 62, 730, 900 forms. Forms are listed hereby in the form number. The copy of all the forms can be obtained with the internet. The Department of State, Florida, U.S. Waste Quick Document Forms, page 62, 730, containing the Hazardous Waste Regulation, section 60, MS 4560 of the Division of Waste Management, Department of Environmental Protection, 2600 Blairstone Road, Tallahassee, Florida, 32399, 2400. In order to facilitate initial submission of the complete application of hazardous waste permits, occurs with the hazardous waste facility permit application instruction, which provides the guidance for the forms of issuance, assistance assuring the company's application complies with the provision in Title 40 CFR Part 27 of the chapter. Notification forms. The application to transfer the permit to January 29, 2006, Form 8712 FL, Florida Notification Regulated Waste Activity for April 23, 2013, which is adopted and incorporated the reference paragraph 62, 731, 58C. Application has the waste facility permit, which is adopted and incorporated reference 62, 732, 2A. Application has the waste permit 1 general for April 23, 2013. Be reserved information regarding potential release of solid waste in your management units. Application has the waste facility permit certification. Application has the waste emergency APA DEP identification number, which is adopted and incorporated in reference paragraph 62, 730, 161, 2A. Hazardous waste financial responsibility forms, which are adopted and incorporated in the reference section subsection 62, 731, 86. Hazardous waste facility letter of the Chief Financial Officer demonstrating financial assurance. Hazardous waste facility letter of the Chief Financial Officer demonstrating financial responsibility form. Hazardous waste facility incorporated and guaranteed demonstrating financial assurance form. Hazardous waste facility incorporated and guaranteeing liability coverage form. Hazardous waste facility trust fund agreement to demonstrate financial assurance form. Hazardous waste facility standing trust fund agreement demonstrating financial assurance form. Hazardous waste facility irrevocable letter demonstrating financial assurance form. Hazardous waste financial guarantee bond to demonstrate financial assurance form. Hazardous waste financial performance bond demonstrating financial assurance. Hazardous waste facility insurance certification demonstrating financial assurance. Hazardous waste facility certificate liability insurance. Waste facility certification liability insurance. Hazardous waste facility endorsement primary policy. Hazardous waste facility endorsement excess surplus policy. Hazardous waste facility irrevocable letter of credit demonstrating liability coverage form. Hazardous waste facility surety bond demonstrating liability coverage form. Hazardous waste facility trust fund demonstrating liability coverage form. Hazardous waste facility trust fund demonstrating liability coverage. Hazardous waste transportation financial responsibility form, which are adopted and incorporated in reference subsection 62, 731, 72 Florida Administration Code. A certification liability insurance hazardous waste transporter and used oil handler. Hazardous waste waste transporter liability endorsement form, hazardous waste transportation liability surety bond form, and hazardous waste report, and it's incorporated in the reference for subsection 62.730.153 form. That completes the readings of the hazardous waste chapter of Florida Administration Codes.